Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Political Ray. Thank you for joining me this morning. We've got a few stories that we're going to cover today. Appreciate you coming back to my live. I am going to be live Monday through Friday at 7:30 Eastern Time. Come check it out. Hit the follow. Give me a like if you like what you see. I guess you don't have to. I'm not going to pressure you. No peer pressure here. Anyway, we got some astronauts talking about the ones that got stranded up there in space. They've been talking about how much they appreciate Elon Musk and Donald Trump and their efforts in bringing them back home. And something that I think that should have been a unifying moment for the nation really wasn't, and it should have been. There was a lot of people that tuned into it and watched it, and I think it was a good thing. A lot of people didn't even pay attention to it though. Some people you talk to and they didn't even know about people being stranded in space. It's just crazy to me. But anyway, we've got that. We've got also got Tim Pool being in the press pool at the White House, which is pretty rad. I think that's pretty cool. But anyway, um, mainstream media does not like this because they're losing their foothold on the media, and they're not happy about it. But mainstream media is a dying brand, and people like Tim Pool, Steven Crowder, Jeremy at the Quartering, they're taking over the news media. The new Rumble Live lineup that is number one in um every hour that the Rumble has for their live lineup. They have completely taken over this space. I mean, they're trending number one everywhere every day in their time slots. So that's pretty cool. But mainstream media is not happy about it. And we got some news coming out of Russia. Kremlin saying that they're still wanting to have peace negotiations and peace talks, ceasefire, what have you. And we got Social Security numbers. Elon comes out and says that there will be arrests today. He said this yesterday, saying that tomorrow there will be arrests made over Social Security numbers being just randomly given away. We'll get into that a little bit. And we also got some Ashely Sinclair drama, but something I don't want to talk about that crap, but it's all over the place. So we'll dive into that just a little bit. Just pretty much to say that I covered it. But anyway, we'll move on right quick here. Let me get myself shrinked up here, and we'll get into this first story about the astronauts. Now, this is pretty interesting. This is from the Post Millennial. Astronauts speak out for the first time after SpaceX rescue. Says Trump Musk have earned their trust. This is the Biden administration, as far as I understand it now, the Biden administration Elon went to the Biden administration and said, "Look, I have the capability to bring these people home." And the Biden administration didn't do anything about it. To me, that shouldn't happen. But anyway, let's see what we got. The two astronauts who have been rescued by SpaceX after being stranded in the International Space Station for some 9 months, 288 days, spoke out in an interview on Monday night with Fox News, saying that they know who is to blame for their extended adventure. Commander of the crew test flight said that he believed Trump's claims that the Biden administration had abandoned him and his crewmates in space. Look, as I said, as far as I understand it, Elon went to President Biden and said, "Look, I can bring these people home." Why didn't he take them up on the offer? It doesn't make any sense. I mean, it's an opportunity to make yourself look good. Look what I did. I brought these people home, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. Why not take up Elon on the offer? I'm just saying. Anyway, excuse me. Barry Wilmore and Sunita Williams went to the ISS on June 5th, 24 for an 8-day mission and did not come home until March of the following year. Now, with that, I've been told, I don't know for sure, I'm not an astronaut, but the way I understand it is that prolonged exposure within space in zero gravity, all that kind of stuff, it takes a toll. And I can imagine it could. Because you're not using your muscles a whole lot, especially your legs. I mean, when you come back down to Earth and you've got gravity, it's going to be difficult, I would imagine, especially being up in space for that long. That's insane to me. But here we are. Anyway, let's see, where was I? Following Wilmore said he had no reason not to believe anything that they say. referring to the Trump administration, because they've earned my trust. The White House has said that Biden administration had abandoned them in space, which, if it's all true, Elon going to President Biden, he did. He abandoned them in space. Elon came to him and said, "Look, I've got the capability to bring these people home," and Biden didn't do anything about it. So yeah, that's abandonment. Anyway, I respect you. I trust you, Wilmore said. You've given me no reason not to trust you, either one of them. I have no reason not to believe anything they say because they've earned my trust, and for that I am grateful. That our nation's leaders actually are coming in and taking part in our human spaceflight program, which we see is hugely important global significance. Take a look at a little clip here from the Post Millennial. We'll see what they got. This is apparently their interview on Fox News. But take a look.
What would you like to say to President Trump and Elon Musk?
I respect you. I trust you. You've given me no reason not to trust you, either one of them. What they say, I can't say what they say. I haven't lived that. But I have no reason not to believe anything they say because they've earned my trust. And for that, I am grateful that our national leaders actually are coming in and taking part in our human spaceflight program, which we see is hugely important global significance. And they take an active role. And based on the past and what we see now, with them doing that, it's refreshing. Not just refreshing. It's empowering. It's strengthening for our nation. I think it's a good thing for our nation when the national leaders, especially something that has high visibility, are involved in the process. And I'm grateful for that.
And
cool.
I'm just glad that they're involved and they take notice. And our situation, I think I've mentioned before, maybe wasn't the perfect situation, but allowed a lot of people, including the president and Elon, to look at what's going on the International Space Station, take it very seriously, and understand that our involvement as a country, as a spacefaring nation, is really important throughout the world. And it sets an example, and it shows, our ability to be able to do the hard things, put people in space, operate in space, work in space, and then bring us back. It's important, and I appreciate that them and many, many, many more people took notice of it.
This is pretty cool. I mean, honestly, you can say what you want, but the stuff that Elon is doing as far as his SpaceX program is phenomenal. The guy's catching rockets, for crying out loud. Who else can do that? Surely not NASA. I mean, where was NASA when these guys were stranded up there for 288 days? That's a long time to be in space. Where was NASA at? Where was President Biden? Been in office. I mean, Trump brought these guys home. Elon and Trump, they brought these guys home not long after he took office. Why couldn't Biden do it? It boggles the mind. Why wouldn't he take the opportunity to, up his public profile, as it were? Why not make it better? No, they just can't. The Democrats cannot help shoot themselves in the foot. It's just like when Kamala was running for the presidency. She went on The View, and they specifically, they gave her a layup when they asked her, what would you possibly do different than what Biden had done? And she said, "Oh, I can't think of anything." There was 1,000 things she could have said just to make her public profile look better. But she went ahead and just said, "Oh, I can't think of anything," because she's stupid. I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I can tell you there's a few things I would have done differently. And I would have, list them off, Maybe Kamala could have said, maybe go get the astronauts that are stranded in space. Still, maybe talk about, maybe we should try and curb the inflation. Maybe we should let people go back to work even after the COVID thing was all done. Let kids go back to school even though COVID was done. Just off the top of my head, there's probably better ones that I'm not thinking of. But she came out and she said, "Oh, I can't think of anything." Democrats. Anyway, let's see what else we got here. They say Wilmore blames himself first as the commander of the flight of the crew flight test, saying that he felt that he was culpable for not getting enough information and not asking the right questions before the mission launched on June 5th. I'll admit that to the nation, Wilmore said, there's things that I did not ask that I should have asked. I did not know at the time that I needed to ask them. He added, but in hindsight, some of the signals were there. But Wilmore also blamed both Boeing, the manufacturer of the ship that was not fit to bring them home after they arrived at the ISS, as well as NASA for unseen shortcomings in tests and shortcomings in preparations. He went on to say that everybody has a piece in this because it did not come off. Look, I give Guy credit. He said, look, as the mission commander, I should have done things better. I give him credit for that. That's something that a lot of people they won't do. They won't take the blame for a lot of stuff. I can tell you right now, I don't do this full time. But I will tell you if I get something wrong, I'll tell you. I've already gotten a couple things wrong, and then the very next show that I did, I came out. The first thing I did was say, look, I got to correct this. I was wrong. One of them being about the Mahmoud Khalil, the most recent one. There was a video I said that he got deported. I thought he had. I misread something. Next episode, I corrected it. I said he is still in detention. He has not been, deported, and I apologize. That was my bad. But I'm human, and people don't get everything right. But that's just where we are. I give credit where credit is due. Somebody takes the blame for something, takes credit for their mistake. It's the same thing. I have a full-time job. When I go to work, if I do something wrong, I tell my boss, look, that's on me. That's my fault. But everybody's human. People make mistakes. Anyway, I digress. I ramble. Anyway, here we go. Let's see. Williams said that once they were both aboard the ISS, her first thought was, we just got a pivot, and they got started working on the ISS crew. If this was the destiny, if our spacecraft was going to go home based on decisions made. Oh crap! What did I do? Decisions made, and we were going to go up there until February. I was like, okay, let's make the best of it. We were ready to just jump into it and take on the tasks that were given to us, she said. This was, like I said, giving credit where credit is due. Like I said, I mean, I give a lot of credit to Elon Musk. Without him, I think that these people would still be stranded in space. That's just what I think, because NASA, Biden, all them, they didn't do anything to help these people. It was Elon and his SpaceX that actually brought them home. Now, was NASA involved? I'm sure they were. I don't know. I think NASA has a lot to do with the SpaceX program, but I just think that that's something that, because NASA actually controls that sector of government, what have you. But anyway, go ahead and move on to Tim Pool here, and he is in the press pool at the White House. This is pretty rad. I'm excited for this stuff. As I said in the previous video, President Trump has introduced Podcast Row, which I think is really cool because, as I said before, it takes a step away from the legacy media, which already has a strong foothold within the news, and it gives it to people like Tim Pool, Steven Crowder, Ben Shapiro, all these people that do these podcasts, and this is where, in my opinion, the future of news. A lot of people don't get it from the mainstream media anymore, especially the younger people. The young people get their news from online media. People like me, though I don't have a very big following, I'm hoping to grow it. But people like Tim Pool, who has a massive following, Steven Crowder, who has a massive following, The Quartering, Jeremy, who is very up and coming. He's growing his audience very rapidly at this point. So, like I said, I think that this is the future of media, of news, and I think that Trump he's on board. He's making the right steps to make sure that they're involved with it. So we'll take a look at this. This is from WTRF.com. West Virginia podcaster joins White House press pool amid ongoing legal disputes with Harris campaign. Now, let me just say, as far as I understood it, this was done. Now, Tim Pool did sue the Harris campaign over an X post, and as far as I understood it, it was over. Maybe I'm wrong, but I couldn't find anything else as far as ongoing investigation or court. I mean, as far as, and Tim Pool said himself that it was done. He's satisfied with the results. So I thought it was over. Maybe I'm wrong, but I couldn't find anything else on it. But here we go. We'll get into this. Conservative commentator. He's not a conservative. First off, they're going to frame this. I read through this just a little bit, and they do frame it a little bit wrong. As far as him being conservative, he's actually a, I would say he's more of a libertarian. He's old school, not like a new liberal. He's old school. He likes, and I'm gonna tell you, he's not conservative. His views and everything else. I watch the guy all the time. So if you see this, if you happen to see this, Tim, I'd love to come on the show. But anyway, a representative from Tim Pool's Timcast platform participated in official coverage at the White House this week, joining a group that included outlets aligned with the administration's media strategy. The Trump administration has favored newer, often right-leaning media platforms over traditional news organizations. Legacy outlets like the Associated Press and Reuters have reportedly been restricted from certain events, including coverage aboard Air Force One and inside the Oval Office. That's because they keep peddling false narratives, and the president's tired of it. They're still in the press pool. They're just it's not their right. They have come out and said it's their right to be at the have access to the president. Well, not in the Oval Office and not on Air Force One. I mean, as far as I understand it, the president gets to pick who is in that press pool, accompanying him to other places and whatnot. So, I don't think they have a claim to that. But anyway, let's see. The administration has also created Podcast Bro, which I'm excited for. I'm excited for this, but a space for online personalities to stream content and interview officials directly from the White House. White House officials say the goal is to reach broader and younger audience through alternative media. Again, this is where the media space is going. People like Tim Pool and everybody else that do the news online and just give their opinions, or Steven Crowder, he leaves all of his references. You can look at them yourselves. He encourages it. He gives fact-based news with a touch with comedy. The guy's hilarious. I enjoy watching his show every day. But let's see. Figures from platforms such as War Room and other independent shows have already participated. The move to include Pool suggests this effort is expanding. Pool's blah blah blah. Blah 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 filed in federal court, West Virginia. The complaint accuses campaign of falsely claiming Pool supports a plan to give former President Trump unchecked power, including jailing and executing political opponents, which was not true. This whole thing, if you're not aware of the story, the whole story between Tim Pool suing the Kamala Harris campaign, it was Kamala HQ on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it, said that Tim Pool was, planned. He wanted to give President Trump unchecked power in jailing and executing his political opponents, which was not true. It was an outright lie. And we'll take a look at this. This is we'll change this to this one real quick here. This was Tim Pool, and this was the clip that the Kamala HQ put out saying that he wanted to jail his political opponents. Now, everything that Tim Pool says in this is correct. Just a heads up. But we'll take a look at this.
Should Democrats be in jail? No question. When Donald Trump gets elected, should he start locking them up? No question. Should there be lists of Democrats that need to go to jail? 100%. And the reason for that is they've committed crimes.
There you go. He said yes. Did he say they should be locked up? Yes. But he gave his reasoning for that. They've committed crimes. I've said it time and time again on this show. Accountability. Because without it, you don't have a lawful nation. You've got all these Democrats doing whatever they want because they know that there's no repercussions to their actions. Until you start holding these people accountable for their actions, they're going to keep doing whatever they want to do. Accountability. I'm a big fan of it, whether it's Republican, Independent, Democrat. Accountability. actions have consequences. Anyway, we'll keep going with this.
We need to make sure that when Donald Trump wins, we've got an attorney general, a deputy attorney general, a head of the CIA and the FBI. Kash Patel would be fantastic. We can have attorney general. There's some names floating around. And then they can start having their investigators and the feds issuing subpoenas, pulling up evidence, and with real evidence, bring them to judges for warrants. Then these people can spend three years of their lives fighting tooth and nail for the crime against the government for crimes they committed, and we can prove. Yeah. And the reason why we put them on trial is that we can show the whole world we will uncover what you've done. We will make sure everyone knows, and you will be held accountable for it.
Exactly. Couldn't have said it better myself. Now, I'll play this last little bit, and I think this is what they threw a fit over. Now, this is not Tim Pool, this is Laura Loomer, and they cut it off right after she says this. If they didn't, you would have seen Tim Pool say, look, Tim Pool is not for this, okay? But we'll take a look at this, and then I'll talk a little bit more about it.
It's just jail. They should get the death penalty. You know, we actually used to have the punishment for treason in this country.
Okay, look. I'm going to say outright. They cut it off right there. That was from Kamala HQ. I think this was it was last year. I know that for sure. I want to say, I can't remember exactly when. I want to say September, maybe October, maybe that time frame somewhere in there. But Tim Pool did sue because he did lose some revenue. It tarnished his reputation. But Tim Pool does not agree with the death penalty. If you watch him at all, he says it quite a bit, that he is against the death penalty. He does not believe in it. But they ran with that. He said it after she made that statement about, the death penalty for treason and yada yada. They cut it off there because right after that, Tim Pool did come out and he said, I'm not for that. He does not believe in the death penalty. He doesn't want to see people killed over this kind of stuff. That's just how he thinks. That's how he feels. He doesn't agree with it, but they cut that part out. Does he think that people should be punished for crimes that they've committed? Sure, so do I. Accountability. Again, until you hold them accountable for their actions, they're going to do whatever they want to do because they know they can get away with it. So I'm in agreement with him. But anyway, they cut it off after there because he pretty much told her that he doesn't agree with her statement and we shouldn't be doing that. But does he believe that they should be jailed? Sure. So do I. Again. Anyway. Let's see. We'll take a look at this. And this is, again, like I said, I don't think that I think it's over. As far as I understand it, it's done. Take a look at this. This is from Tim Pool's X account, Twitter account, whatever you want to say. The lawsuit between Tim Pool, and the Kamala Harris campaign has been resolved to my satisfaction. Thank you. And there's the little, this page doesn't exist. Try searching for something else. So it seems to me like, it's done and over with. Did he get, compensation? I don't know. He never came out and said. There's nothing online that I found that suggests that he did. I don't know. So, but as far as I understand it, it was done. But, I don't know. We'll go back to the article here and we'll see. Just make sure I got everything here. Let's see. Get that. Wrong one. There we go. Okay. Let's see. It says Pool is seeking damages in public and a public retraction. He says the campaign statement led to threats, reputation loss, and increased security concerns. Of course it did. When you've got, when they misframed it, they cut off right at the end when he said that he doesn't agree with the death penalty and yada yada. They cut it off because they don't want people to see that part. This is just another example of the rhetoric from the left and what they do to spin the narrative. Let's see. He claims someone came to one of his properties and assaulted an employee shortly after the post was published. I remember hearing him talk about this. He did say it. I feel bad for the guy. Nobody should have to go through this, but unfortunately he did. Anyway, you shouldn't have people come and make death threats against you just for your opinions, especially when it wasn't even his opinion, but they framed it to be his, even though it was. I think that was Laura Loomer, if I'm not mistaken. She was the one that said it, not him. But you know, I'm not lover or hater, regardless of what you think about Laura Loomer. She does actually do some pretty good work. I follow her. She does do some good work. I don't agree with all of her stances and all of her opinions. I don't agree with all of Tim Pool's stances and opinions either. But I think they do a good job in informing people and reading the news and informing people of what's going on. But anyway, um, rambling again. Let's see what else we got here. The lawsuit also notes Pool's background as an independent journalist. He has previously interviewed politicians across the political spectrum and built a large following on multiple social media platforms. While Pool's political positions have shifted over the years, he describes himself as a skeptical of state and corporate power, shaped in part by his early reporting during Occupy Wall Street. I never saw none of his Occupy Wall Street stuff, but I can imagine it was pretty good. I don't know. I haven't seen it. I couldn't tell you. The White House has not commented on Pool's lawsuit, but continues to promote its inclusion of non-traditional media in official coverage. Says the approach helps connect with a broader base of Americans. It does. Again, like I said, um, this is the new wave of media, is online opinion people and like I said, Steven Crowder does it with a mixture of comedy, which is great. Also puts all his references down, encourages people to look at them. Do your own research. Look into things. Don't just take the mainstream media's word for it. Just look into things. It sometimes it takes a quick 5-minute Google search. Sometimes it takes a little longer to dig into things. But just do your own research. I'm telling you, it'll be worth it. It'll open your eyes. Anyway, moving on to the Kremlin. We'll move on to this one here. This is interesting to me. The Kremlin. This is from Reuters. I don't like to use them, but this is what we got. Kremlin says it is working on Ukraine peace after Trump says he's pissed off with Putin. Now, Trump did come out, if you haven't heard about this yet. Trump came out and said he's pissed off with the way that Putin has been talking about Zelensky, saying that there needs to be a change in leadership and blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I think that there probably needs to be a change in leadership. I think Zelensky's a dictator. I think Putin is too. Don't get me wrong. Not a fan of Putin. Not a fan of Zelensky either. But that being said, I think there could be a change in leadership. I think the Zelensky's a beggar, and I think he throws a hissy fit whenever he doesn't get his way. Mainly when he doesn't get more money. That's all he wants. More money. More money. That's what he wants. The guy is lining his pockets, and every time he came to the U.S. when Biden was in office, he walked away with billions more dollars. That's you can't discredit that. That's what happened. The last time he came and campaigned for the Democrats in Pennsylvania, signing bombs with Josh Shapiro, or not? Yeah, Josh Shapiro, I think it was. Yeah, it was Josh. Anyway, and then walked away with what was it, 2.6? It was over $2 billion. Just walked away. Said, "Oh, thanks, U.S. taxpayers, for giving me another $2 billion." The guy's a beggar. And the last time he came to the U.S., and we all remember the incident in the White House in the Oval Office with Zelensky, President Trump, and Vice President J.D. Vance. We all remember that incident. He got pissy because President Trump said, "No, you're not getting any more money from us. We need to start peace negotiations, sign this minerals deal so that we can give you the security that you want within your country." And he threw a fit because he wasn't getting more money. Now, I don't know if he got thrown out or if he left on his own accord. I don't know that. There's stories saying either one. So, anyway, Moscow, Washington, Reuters. The Kremlin said on Monday that Russia and the United States were working on ideas for a possible peace settlement in Ukraine and on building bilateral ties, despite U.S. President Donald Trump saying that he was pissed off with Putin. Trump told NBC News that he was very angry after the Russian leader criticized the credibility of Ukrainian President Zelensky, and the U.S. president suggested he could impose secondary tariffs of 25 to 50% on buyers of Russian oil. I'm fine with that. I mean, the UK is a prime example of this. They say one thing and do another. They want to fund the war, plus they're also buying Russian oil. make it make sense. They want to fund Ukraine. They're giving billions of dollars to Ukraine. They've already said this, but they're still going to buy billions and billions and billions of gallons of oil from Russia. So you're funding both sides, but you want to play like you're just on Ukraine's side. It doesn't make sense. In any, like I said, 5 minutes of research, you can see this. Do your research, find out for yourself. Anyway, Trump later reiterated to reporters he was disappointed with Putin, but added, "I think we're making progress step by step." Yeah, you got to make progress on this. Keep going with the talks. No matter how many times Zelensky wants to flip flop on everything, how many times has he said he was going to sign that minerals deal, and then he still hasn't done it? I can't. I lost count. You can let me know. Comment below. Let me know how many times he's flip flopped on it, because I lost count. Anyway, let's see. Asked about Trump's comments, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said Moscow was continuing to work with Washington and that Putin remained open to contacts with Trump. We are continuing to work with the American side, first of all, to build our bilateral relations, which are badly damaged during the previous administration. That doesn't surprise me, because we all know President Biden, as I said before, Zelensky knew that was a cash cow, and he was just every time he said, "Hey, Biden, can I get some more money?" Biden said, "Oh, sure, guy, sure, buddy," and then billions more dollars went out the door. How much money have we given to Ukraine at this point? Let me, I'm curious. Let me look it up real quick, just because I used to know the exact number now, but I can't tell you. Let's see. How much has given to Ukraine? Let's see. That usually has something come up right away, but let's see. Let's see if this one says. This is CFR.org. Never heard of this one. Let's see. Maybe buried at the bottom of the article. United States provided Ukraine with a government $20 billion loan funded. No, that's not it. Let's see. Cited news media is 175 billion. 175 billion that we've given since this war has started. And now I know you can tell me, Ray, that's not all, that's not just in cash. I understand that that's money that's allocated in cash plus weapons and ammunition, that kind of stuff. I understand that. But that's a lot of freaking money. $175 billion. Anyway, that's insane. The war's got to end. People are dying. It's costing billions of dollars from everybody at this point. Because Zelensky, again, he's a beggar, and he just wants that money to keep coming in. Anyway, let's see. It says, and we are also working on the if I could talk correctly this morning, implementation of some ideas related to the Ukrainian settlement. This work is underway, but so far there are no specifics that we could or should tell you about. This is a time of consuming process, probably due to its complexity. Again, it needs to end. The money's got to stop flowing to them until, if everybody would just cut off Zelensky from the funding, from the money and everything else, the war it'd be done. He'd have to sign a peace deal, because he's flip-flopped on the peace deal, on the ceasefire, on the minerals deal, because he's still getting money. He does not care about his people. I've said this 100 times at this point. He doesn't care about his people. He cares about that money flow coming in. That's it. Changed my mind. Anyway, you can tell me, oh, he spent time on the front with his soldiers. So if you think that guy has spent any time at the front of that conflict, you're going to be gravely mistaken. I very seriously doubt that that guy spent any time anywhere close to the front lines of that conflict. I seriously doubt it. Anyway. Let's see. Finland's president, Alexander, blah. Let's see. Was there anything else on here? Oil and rare earths. Since taking office in January, Trump has shifted the U.S. to a more conciliatory stance towards Russia. That has left Western allies wary as he tries to broker an end to the war. This is just what it is. The minerals deal. I keep talking about this because this stuff is in the news still all the time. The minerals deal is a good deal for Ukraine and its people. It puts American civilians, people, what have you, within the country, and it tells Putin, look, don't invade in here. Don't bring your people in here because we've got Americans in country and we will retaliate it if anything happens to them. It gives Zelensky the security that he supposedly wants. I don't think he wants it. I just think it's a talking point for him because he wants the money to keep flowing in. Again, my opinion, and then we're going to move on from this because I'm tired of reading about it. And I just keep rambling. So we're going to move on to Elon Musk, and arrests will be made, as he says. Now, this is from Nick Sorter on X. I found this very, very interesting and felt like I had to talk about this because this I'm hoping it happens today. At some point, I hope to open my phone and see arrests being made because this kind of stuff, who knows how long this kind of crap has been going on. I'd imagine probably pretty long. Anyway, from Nick Sorter, Elon Musk has just announced a fraudster will be arrested as soon as tomorrow. This is posted yesterday. After Doge exposed them from stealing from the Social Security database, this person stole 400,000 numbers, siphoning checks from hardworking retired Americans. This is crazy. Excuse me. The guy, whoever did this, should be locked up forever. My opinion. But take a listen. This is apparently a recording from, and there's a lot of stuff going around about like AI recordings and stuff. So I can't tell you. I mean, I trust Nick Sorter. I think he's a legitimate reporter, journalist, whatever you want to call him. But I think he's legitimate. I don't think that he would have not done his due diligence and just thrown this out here. But take a listen. I hope to open my phone and see that an arrest has been made because this kind of crap, it shouldn't be happening. Anyway, let's take a listen.
In fact, I believe someone is going to be arrested tomorrow. This is someone who actually stole 400,000 Social Security numbers and personal information from the Social Security database, and was selling Social Security numbers and all the identification information in order for people to basically steal money from Social Security. And this is like, by the way, a particular avenue of fraud for like illegal immigrants and for voter fraud, because the main way that identification is established in the United States is via Social Security. So if you compromise the Social Security system, you can basically get people to get de facto registered to vote, even if they're not citizens.
Now, here's my thing. For one, how does somebody get access to the Social Security, admin, Social Security numbers, that kind of stuff? Hacking? I don't know. Another thing, this guy, think about this, 400,000 Social Security numbers that this person supposedly took. You know how much money that guy made off this person? Made off of that? 400,000. What you sell Social Security number for what? $1,000 a pop? That's a lot of money. Even if you did for $500 a pop, you're making bank. It's a lot of money. 400,000 Social Security numbers. God knows where these went to, what they were used for. I would imagine just to get some money, because they're probably I think like it says, they probably used them to people retired, that kind of stuff, But anyway, let's keep listening.
and to get a bunch of benefits and to milk the system. It's pretty insane. Like the Democrats basically taken every part of the government that could possibly be bent towards providing financial incentives for illegal immigrants to come to and remain in the United States, whether it's the Social Security, disability, Medicare, unemployment, even like IRS refunds without any income. It's
crazy.
wild. The diverted FEMA funds, which is supposed to be for helping Americans in distress from natural disasters, to pay for luxury hotels in New York for illegals to stay there. In fact, they're still there. Those hotels are still active.
Now that's. Did he actually say that the hotels are active, or that they're actually still housing illegals in those hotels? I didn't quite understand that part. Let me know. Tell me what you think he said. To me, I think he was saying that these luxury hotels in New York are still housing illegals. Which, if that's the case, I mean, that was that whole FEMA story. FEMA was, housing illegal immigrants in luxury hotels in New York. Now, as far as I understood it, I think they were just, single family dwellings and apartments. But I could be wrong. I could be. There might have been some people in luxury hotels, but I seen both stories. I seen a story that said that they were being housed in luxury hotels. I also saw another story that it actually wasn't luxury hotels. It was just normal single family apartment dwellings that they were actually being housed in, which in either case shouldn't be coming out of the FEMA budget. Doesn't matter if it was luxury hotels or just run of the mill family apartments. Shouldn't be being funded by the taxpayer dollars. Anyway, this is wild. This shouldn't be a thing in America. People are getting their social security numbers stolen by somebody and then either selling them or giving them away. I don't know. To illegals, possibly. I mean, we don't know for sure. But that's people's retirements, social security benefits, people on disability. Their money's just gone. I know a lot of people that are getting all kinds of stuff happening to them because there's illegals in the country, and for some reason they're getting a hold of their information and taking their livelihoods from them. It's insane. But anyway, I hope to see an arrest today. I really do. I hope that this comes to light a little further. I hope to report on it again tomorrow, honestly. Tomorrow morning when I come back on here and I say there was an arrest made. Elon was right. This person was stealing social security numbers. I hope he's right. Anyway, let's see. We'll go ahead and move on. Now, speaking of Elon here, we've Ashley St. Clair, however you say, I don't care. I didn't want to touch on this, but here we are. She's coming out and she's sold her Tesla, which was, as far as I understand it, given to her by Elon Musk. Elon Musk gave her this Tesla. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a Type S, Type Y, whatever they are. I don't know the types. I don't look into electric vehicles. I don't plan on buying an electric vehicle. I'm not a fan of electric vehicles, so I don't know what type or whatever this is. But anyway, I digress. She's selling her Tesla that was, again, to my understanding, given to her by Elon because she supposedly had a baby with Elon. The guy's given her, now this is all alleged. I don't know the exact numbers. I just know of what I've seen and what numbers have been put out there. But if this to be the case, this girl has already received $2.5 million from Elon. And she's complaining about the fact that he cut down the child support to the maximum, which, again, to my understanding, is like $5,000. He's giving her $500,000 a year. A year. Now, to my understanding, from what I've read, all he did was cut back what he was giving her and dropped it back down to the maximum legally, like the legal maximum amount of child support that he could legally give to her. That's what he did, which is apparently, to my understanding, is that $500,000 a year. And she's going to come out and she's going to say, well, I have to sell my Tesla to make up for the cut in funding that Elon has taken away from me in his child support. Now I understand. Y'all can come at me and say whatever you want. Oh, the guy's got like 70 kids and blah, blah, blah. And he doesn't, fine. I don't care. I don't care what the guy does in his personal life. I don't. I could give two craps less what this guy does behind closed doors. I care about what he's doing for the American public. I care about what he's doing to save the taxpayer dollars. I care about what he's doing within the Doge and what he's talking to President Trump about. That's what I care about. I don't care about who he's sleeping with. I don't care about how many kids he's got. I could care less. If he's filling his obligations as a father, paying child support, I don't know if he hangs out with the kid. I don't know. I hope he does. But I could care less. And Ashely St. Clair to come out here, and even if it's not the $500,000 a year, even if it was less than the $2.5 million that he says he gave to her already, just initially, and he doesn't even know if the kid is his. But you got arguing on both sides with Ashely St. Clair saying, oh, you need to come take a paternity test, and him saying, well, just name the place and time, and I'll be there, and it still hasn't been done, and blah, 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 blah. Drama. It's drama. I don't care. Again. But for her to come out here and do this kind of crap, I know. Look, it may not be the exact amount, but the guy's giving her a crap ton of money. You know he is. And for her to come out and she's playing the victim, she initially came out and said, I don't want to be in the public eye. Every single time she's in the news now, she's playing victim. Anyway, take a look at the clip. She says, oh, I have to sell because I'm not making enough money from the child support anymore, which is, it's a lie. She's grandstanding. She's playing the victim. That's my opinion. Change my mind. Let me know what you think. Take a look. Let's see. Oh, I got to bring it up here first. My bad. There we go.
I'm selling it because I need to make up for the 60% cut that Elon made to our son's child support.
Again, these stories just, again, I don't care about what the guy does in his personal life. But for her to come out and grandstand, I have to make up for the 60% in child support that he cut off. The $500,000. You know what I could do with $500,000 a year? Whatever the hell I wanted. That's what. And he's already given $2.5 million. Now, again, I will say, I don't know if that's the exact amount. That's just what I've seen online. That's what I've read. That's what I've been told. But even if it's not the case, she's getting a crap ton of money from this guy. She's grandstanding. She's playing the victim. And I hate people like this. I do not like them. I think that she needs to just go away. Not in a literal sense. Just go live your life. Just go live your life. Be happy with your child. You don't have to worry about a thing for the rest of your life because Elon's going to continue to pay you child support, at least until the kid's 18. For at least 18 years. Start putting some of that money back. $500,000 a year. You could do whatever you want to. Put $150,000 of that away every single year. And by the time that kid is 18, you live off the interest. These people, it's insane to me. Just go live your life. You don't need to be in the public sphere and play the victim and everything else. Just go live your life. Anyway.
Why do you think that he did that?
That's a great question for him.
That's a great question for him.
You feel like he was sort of like vindictive against you in some way?
Yeah, that's his modus operandi when women speak out.
Yeah, for crying out loud.
This is the last time that you spoke to him or tried to speak to him?
February 13th.
But he's just not responding to you at all. And how would you characterize sort of the way that he's doubt about even so me a favor and not finish this process for
You can check the stocks. I'm not the only one who's signing up after.
Look, just for a little bit of clarity, his stock is going back up. Just to let everybody know, his stock is going back up. But I digress.
We're not going to get you.
Then there they are putting it onto the tow truck. Hey, whatever.
I'm selling it because.
Look, I don't like the fact that I have to cover this. I don't. I didn't want to talk about this, but it's everywhere. I think she's playing a victim. I think she's very good at playing a victim. I don't think that I don't think she's going to have a care in the world. I think that she's just greedy. Kind of reminds me of Zelensky a little bit. She's just greedy. She wants more money. $500,000 a year is nothing to scoff at. I could do whatever I wanted if I was getting $500K a year. Anyway, that's it for this morning. Appreciate you all hanging out. I really do. If you like what you saw, hey, hit the follow button, hit the like button. You can follow me here on Rumble. You can also subscribe to me on YouTube if you want to. I don't know why you would, but if you're on Rumble or if you're on YouTube, just go to Rumble. It's the place to be. It's taken over, and I think it's gonna be bigger than YouTube. That's my opinion. That's what I think. But hey, they're doing fairly well at this point. So I have high hopes, and I expect great things. Anyway, you can also follow me on X at The Political Ray. And again, I appreciate everybody hanging out, and I hope you had a good time. Take care of each other, and God bless.